Hey Ring Rescue Crew, welcome to our first ever episode of Stuck in the Middle with You. In this series, we'll be speaking to experts about stuck ring removal in their fields, the craziest ring removal stories, how our compression device and solutions are helping them in these situations, and anything and everything regarding stuck rings. So for our first ever episode, we're lucky to be joined by the one and only Mike Piccoli from Paterson Fire Department in New Jersey. So stay tuned while we chat about all things in stuck ring removal in the fire sector, but also Michael tells us Superman versus Batman, who we'd want to be and why. Stay tuned. Why don't you introduce yourself? So, who are you, and what's your professional background?
Michael Piccoli. I am on the Paterson Fire Department over in Paterson, New Jersey. I've been there for 4 years now, last week. I'm part of the rescue company, so we respond to all technical rescues in the city. And we're responsible from anything from car accidents to ring removals to you name it, people stuck in a trench, fires. You can't handle it, we'll be there to rectify the situation.
Well, thank you for all your service. Very much appreciated. Superman versus Batman, who would win?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would probably say Superman. But then again, Batman's got a lot of cool stuff too.
Okay.
That's an interesting fight.
Second question is, who would you rather be if you were going to be one of them, Superman or Batman?
Oh, that's a hard one. I might go with Batman.
Yeah, why? Good one, but why?
Cool cars, the motorcycle.
Yeah, big time. Yes, the Batmobile will always be an epic vehicle that everybody should want to have. How important is it to you to preserve sentimental property for individuals?
I mean, we're in the business of, we're here to serve the public, and ideally, the main goals of the fire service are to preserve life and property. Life first, and then move on to property. So it's always nice to help people, and they come to expect you to be like, "Oh, I have to cut my ring off." And it's like, "Oh, let's try this first. We might be able to save it." And like their whole reaction changes. And they go from sad to like they have a smile on their face. Like there might be hope that they might be able to save their ring or whatever is on their finger.
Yeah, so true. In your background, do you ever come across stuck rings? And if yes, how often do you come across these?
The department as a whole, we probably do maybe 10 to 15 a year. We have 4 shifts, but they're always usually unique. They're never the same incident. Whenever we get them, it's always something different.
So what kind of cases do you usually see?
Anywhere from people that just show up to the firehouse where they're like, I smashed my finger in the door, I can't get my ring off, or they're just like, hey, are you able to help get this off? They'll be able to get it off for a while. Or we're right next to the hospital that's in Paterson, the trauma center. So they'll call us on occasion if they need to get a ring off somebody's finger, because people go there sometimes, or they get objects and something happened, an injury happened where they need to remove it. So they'll call us to come have us.
Wow. When you first became a firefighter or in the fire service, did you receive training for ring removal ever?
In my volunteer department, I've been there for 11 years now. I'm one of the assistant chiefs. We did not have any really like man and machine training or ring removals up until a couple years ago. We did a class with Rescue Products International out of New Jersey. Yeah. And they went over everything from ring removals using like the Dremel tool to a simple ring cutter, and everything else from impalements to cutting people's hands are stuck in machines, talk about to assembling stuff. And that was where we first kind of got into the whole removing rings process and the different stuff that you might use. And then eventually, through Paterson and social media, we came out, you met up with each other on social media and saw your product and fell in love with it. Ever since then, it's been a go-to kit in our man machine.
So we saw a couple weeks ago that you had a woman come in with a stuck ring. Tell us a little bit about that case. And have you seen any more ring removals that kind of really stand out in your mind?
We had it was a father and her daughter ended up walking into the firehouse. We were actually about to practice removing rings off fingers using cut up pieces of 3/4 copper pipe and then cut them off the Dremel. We were talking about we were going to do it that day. And then somebody walks in and they're like, oh, can you help us get a ring off your finger? I'm like, oh, come on, stop kidding. So then they're like, "Oh, really?" So we're like, "All right, no problem. We have something we could try. See if we can get it off without having to cut it." And our captain didn't believe us when we told him. He's like, "Ah, you guys are just kidding around." No, seriously, here it is. So we sat her down at the kitchen table. I guess she ended up smashing her finger in the door, and the ring kind of got crushed a little bit, so it's hurting her. So we wanted to get it off, and we, explained the device to her. She was happy that we weren't going to hopefully not have to cut the ring, and we did one round of compression. It moved a little bit. We said, "You know what? We'll push it back a little bit." Then we put it over the knuckle where the swelling was the worst. That round of compression, we had the 5 minutes, and then it came right off after that, and she was definitely happy. She was glad the ring was off and she wouldn't have to get a cut for it.
That's great. Amazing. So very good. Great that you're able to preserve that property. As well, you had mentioned to me before about a case where there was it a Jimmy proof lock that was stuck on a child's finger that you guys got called in the emergency department about?
Yeah, I guess it was a younger kid, I think under 10, and kids that like to play with things, put things on their fingers, and I guess he stuck the lock part where kid's finger could fit through. I believe, if I remember it correctly, it was his pinky, and they weren't able to get it off. So the one ambulance called us, and we met him at the hospital. They brought the kid into the waiting room. It was cool, no issue, relaxed, and we used your lubricant, and we were able to slide it right off. I mean, the nurses were kind of shocked. They're like, "Oh, we didn't think you guys would be able to get it off." And we're like, "Ah, this lube worked pretty well." They're like, "Ah, it was real quick." They're like, it was in a squeeze bottle, which makes it easy. And the kid was cool. He was sitting on his mom, played a little video for him, and off it came. And we're like, "Don't put it back on your finger again." And he wouldn't promise us, but
That's pretty great. I mean, the non-hydrating lubricant, it's great that it's able to get into man and machine kits and help to not just remove rings, right? So that's pretty great. Would you recommend the device to other departments? And if so, what would be the main reason for it?
100% I'd recommend it. It's very affordable, and it's something everybody should have. I mean, everybody wants to help somebody make somebody's day. People call the fire service when they can't figure something out, whether it's a water leak in the house or a ring stuck on a finger. They call us because they expect us to be able to solve their problems and do it with the least amount of damage possible. And it's one thing that people get real happy afterwards when you save something, because usually rings are sentimental to people. They mean a lot, whether it's handed down through generations, had writing on it, and to be able to help somebody and make their day, that's what we're here for. Try to save people's property and help them and so forth. So I would 100% recommend it to everybody. It's something you should definitely have in your man and machine kit, and if you can't afford it, definitely your lubrication, because that's 100% better than anything else that I've seen out there.
If you could give a piece of advice to your fellow firefighters about stuck ring removals in general, would there be any piece of advice that you would give? What would it be?
Kind of the whole try before you pry method. Try it. See if you can get it before you have to cut it. It might take a little time, but have the patience. I know firemen, we don't like to have patience, and we like to resort to getting it done and moving on to the next call. But take the time, because it can make a difference.
It's great, man. Well, thanks for taking the time to spend with us today to chat a little bit about ring removal in general, and
Anytime.
we very much appreciate it.